Hey everybody, we are on Breakout 11. Right now in front of me I have Breakout 10. So let's change this to 11. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we are going to add a very useful class called a text box class, okay, which allows us to very easily put text on the screen. Now, if you remember from Pong, we had to define, fonts and stuff like that. And that became kind of unwieldy because you had to put a whole bunch of stuff all throughout your code in order to get this to work. Now, the nice thing about setting up a text box is we can encapsulate all that font creation and all that stuff inside the text box, and then we don't have to worry about how all that stuff works. And as you grow as a programmer, what you'll do is you'll create lots of little classes and things that you will use along the way, and that's very nice. So as you create things like a text box or like a useful little routine or something like that, save that off into another file so then you can reuse it if you ever have to use that again. All right, so we're on Breakout 11. Breakout 10, remember we got the angles of the ball going pretty well. So Breakout 11, what we're going to do, we're going to try to get a score going and start putting the game together a little bit more. Okay, so to create a text box, first off, I like to have all my classes up at the top. So let's see here, I'm going to minimize that class, and we will make a new class right here, and we're going to call this class text box. Okay, class text box. And the first thing that we want to do with our class text box is we want to create the constructor. Remember, the constructor is the function that gets called when the object is being created. So it's kind of like the initialization of the object. So just follow along with me. So we're going to do def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and then we're going to do self comma. Our text box need to have an X and a Y, in other words, where we want the text box to start. We want the size of the text box, and that size just corresponds to the size of the font that we're creating. So if I say 100, it'll be a nice big font. 25 probably be a little bit more normal. And then we are going to do color and BG color. Okay, so that's color and the background color. Okay, and then in here we're going to say self dot font equals pygame dot font, that's lowercase, dot font with an uppercase, none, and then size. Okay, so that's where we're passing that size in to create the font. And then we're going to say self, actually let me put these in order, self dot x equals x, self dot y equals y, self dot color, okay, we're going to do that right here, self dot color equals color, and self dot bg color equals bg background color. Okay, is the background color, and that really should do it for the for the text box. I do want to show you something kind of interesting though. Python has the ability to create like a default color. So in other words, if I'm creating my text box and I don't pass it a color, it will automatically do a default color. And the way you do that is up here in your, where you're putting your parameter list, you just say equals whatever parameter has a default. You just say color equals, and then we're going to say pygame.color white. Okay, so our main color is just going to be white. I'm going to put a backslash. Oh, was it the backslash? Yeah, it is. And our background color is going to be pygame.color black. Okay. Clean this up just a smidge. Okay, so that keeps that nice and clean, right? So therefore, if I create a text box, let's go ahead and create a text box. Let's come down here. I'm going to come down here into maybe like right before our game loop. I think that's a good place. I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to say, look at my notes here. I'll say score equals 0, okay? And we're going to say text score equals text box, okay? And our text box has, see, notice here it says XY size, and then it says color equals, and then it has what our default is, and our background what our default is. So I can basically just say, let's say 20, 560, 30. Okay, so we're going over 20, down 560 pixels, and the size of our text is 30. I don't have to put what color it is, but I could say color equals pygame.color hot pink or something, but I don't have to. Now, that's all fine and dandy. We've created that text box, but we have not drawn the text box. So we do need to draw that text. And let me show you the command to draw the text. Let's scroll back up to our definition of the text box. And we're going to create another function. We're going to call it def draw. And we have to have the self, but we are going to have the screen because we do need to have a surface on which to draw the text, okay? And we are going to say text bitmap equals self dot font dot render, and we're going to be oh, you know what? We need to know what to draw, so we're going to put text here. Okay, so we're going to be able to pass, we have to pass the screen what we're going to be drawing on, and then we're going to pass whatever we're going to draw or what we're going to say. So we're going to say text bitmap equals self.font.render. We have to render the text, okay, so that's what actually draws the letters. We are going to do true. I'm not sure what that true is. That may be the anti-aliasing. And then we're going to do self.color self dot background color. Okay. So that line 44, will basically take, whatever gets passed to that draw command and create like a bitmap, meaning just, dots to say what that text looks like. But then we have to put those dots onto the screen. So we do that with a command called blit. And you will hear people say blitting. You got to blit that thing on. We'll talk about blitz in a bit. But basically it means I'm copying the surface of the text bitmap onto the screen in a particular location. So I am going to put the text bitmap into this little tuple self.x, self.y. Okay, so basically we are copying the bitmap that we just created in the draw command onto the screen. Okay, so that's the command for, I'm just cleaning this up. That's the command for drawing that bitmap, but inside our game loop, we actually do need to draw it. Okay, so let's go all the way down to where our drawing commands are, and let's see if we can draw our text. Here's our drawing command. So let's put this at like line 165. That might be good. And we're just going to say text score dot draw, and then we got to pass the screen. Whoops. And then we're just basically going to put a formatted string in here. We're going to say score, colon, and then the curly brackets, and we're going to say score. Okay, so that should draw the score at the XY of where that text box was initialized. Cross our fingers, let's see if it runs. Run. And look at that, we have a nice score down here. Now notice the score is not updating, but if you remember, when we created our brick, object, that had a score variable in it. So whenever the ball hits a brick, we can update that score. Let's see what we can do real quick with that, okay? So what we need to do is go find where the ball hit the brick. Ball paddle interaction, ball wall interaction, ball brick interaction. Okay, so here we go. For B and bricks, okay, so that means I'm going through each brick, and then if it hits, then we change the direction and we remove the brick. So we can basically, right in here, we can say score plus equals. So we're adding the B dot points. Okay. So whatever that brick's points is, we're adding that to the score. So let's run this. And as it hits, okay, so you see the points are going up. It looks like 100 points at a time. Now, those blue bricks down at the bottom, they should probably be worth like 10 points. The green ones maybe 20 points. The yellow ones 30 points, 40 points for orange and red, 50 points, because they get progressively more difficult, right? So let's see if we can make that happen, and then we'll call it for this particular job. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to change the score for each brick as they're being built. Okay, so let's go look at our make bricks function. Remember, the functions are at the top. Here's make bricks. We have colors, we have the bricks, we have all kinds of stuff. And let's do that this way. Okay, we have each row is going to be, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, right? So if instead of 100 right here on line 61, maybe we can use a little bit of math to say how much that point is for. So if we say rows minus R, okay, so say we're creating 5 rows, then the top row, we want to have that being like 5. And then we're going to multiply that by 10. Okay, so let's see if something like that works. Okay, so the first time we go through, rows is going to be 0. So it's going to be 5 minus 0, it's going to be 5, times 10, which would be 50. So that first row of bricks is going to be 50. And then the second time, row R is going to be 1. So 5 minus 1 is going to be 4, times 10, so it'll be 40. And then 30, and then 20, and then 10. Okay? Let's run that. And so these bottom ones should be worth 10 points. They are. Let's see if we'll run this for just a few minutes until so we can actually test to see if we. Oh look, we almost got a green. I may have to speed up this part of the video. This is kind of fun stuff. Oh, okay. So there, you notice the scores got a little bit higher, because the green one should have been worth 20. Oh boy. And the yellow one, oh look at that. I was able to catch the ball. There's a little bit of a bug there. Yeah. Oh, that's almost fun. It's like I can catch the ball and then toss it again. Okay. Okay, so, our score's working pretty well. That's kind of cool. I'm going to leave that running for just a bit. Just check my notes here. All right. So next game, I believe what we'll do is we will try to get the rest of the game going, like a new game, and then what happens when we've run out of bricks and things like that. Okay. So let's do that, and until then, I will see you later. Bye.